afternoon, wherever you are in the world. How you doing? This is Jen. I am the creator of Chaos. That is everything Wine Antics Live tonight. But it's going to be a good night because we're talking about everything bubbly, everything happy, and Stub already has his guitar out. He's ready. He's totally ready. How's everybody doing tonight? We're so glad you've come by. We're a little bit late, but that I'm going to blame on technology, as I always do and will always do, no matter what. I hope everybody has been having a great day. We're really excited. We have a master of champagne. I've gotten it right since my live stream earlier today. Christine Campbell from Girl Go Grapes. And we're excited to bring her on and have a discussion about holiday bubbles with you guys. Stub, how are you? And what have you been up to?
I am well. Just been sitting around enjoying the holidays. Not really that busy. It's been amazing. No. I've been making some videos about booze for the last week and continuing to do that through the 24th. It's pretty cool.
Perfect. And please tell us a little bit more about the what you've been doing.
All right. I am doing the Cork and Me 2017 Adult Advent Calendar, which I have constructed. And if you've seen these videos, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go watch them because it's pretty awesome. But I built a 24 cube box, and every day there is a new libation, beer, wine, or spirit behind a closed door. And we open it up and talk about it. And, maybe sing a little, make some jokes. I don't know, talk about body shots here and there. How you can employ a libation in your boudoir activities. It's wide open.
So I've seen, it's been 7 days now. What's your favorite day been so far?
I really liked all the comments I got wearing a onesie on day 2. However, I started, and I don't want to spoil this for anyone who hasn't watched these, I started with champagne. So I'm very excited to get back to champagne in 1 week and have to drink champagne professionally again in 1 week. It's awesome.
Darn, have to drink champagne.
I know.
Professionally.
It's terrible.
I want that job because it's delicious.
Indeed.
I see Leanne is out. I think she's here supporting her fellow Canadian. And Chris is there. Hi, Justin. And hey, Douglas. Thanks so much for coming by. If you would, please take a moment and share this out. I'm really excited to talk about bubbles. Like, who doesn't love bubbles at it around the holiday time? I mean, who doesn't love bubbles in the summertime? But I particularly love it this time of year.
It's festive.
Well, it's also festive. More prevalent. Like, everybody has it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. So tonight, I've been talking about it on Instagram, and we're going to bring Christine on in a second, but I wanted to get my bottle, what I'm drinking, out of the way real quick. I'm drinking Champagne Veuve Monsigna. It's French, and I butchered it. But it's from Aldi, and I keep talking about this because I was excited to find a $19.99 in terms of a champagne. And I'm going to save my opinion for when we're all on screen, but what are you drinking tonight, Stub?
I am opening a bottle of Champagne Taittinger, or Taittinger, as I think they pronounce it north of the border, and Christine can correct me when she gets on. So everyone knows this is my go-to champagne. This is actually what I started my Advent calendar with. If I don't have a couple bottles of this in the house, then there's not going to be anything worth celebrating until I get some. So.
And there's something wrong. Like, you're either sick or the store has run out.
It's true.
Or there's an apocalypse. Like, something is wrong if Stub doesn't have some tat in his house.
That is true.
I am going to pop on really quick. Will you read some of the comments and see who's out there? If there's anybody else, Stub? Well, I fixed this. We've had some few technical problems, but
technical problems. All
right.
Know,
right? Like, this is what we live for, and this is what live streaming is about.
Look, this is part of the game right here, people. It's all right. We're gonna make it through this thing. We have champagne. It's gonna happen.
Maybe I should do that. No, I'm about ready. Christine, are you ready behind the scenes? Are you born ready for this? I don't know.
I'm good.
You're good. All right, let's do this.
Nice.
All right, welcome on, Christine. Oh, let me pour. Let me pour really quickly so we can do a proper cheers.
Perfect.
Proper cheers. And this is my ration of bubbles for right now, because I actually shared this with my neighbors. So this is my ration for the show. So cheers, everybody. Happy bubbles. Yay. You have, please, Christine, take a minute and do better justice to the introduction I've given you. Please.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks, both of you, for having me on. My name is Christine Campbell. I am a Master of Champagne through the Wine Scholar Guild. I write a blog every other week. I post at girlsgogrape.com, and I sit on our BC VQA appellation, and I'm a wine fault assessor. So before our wines go to market, I make sure that none of them are faulted and they're all up to our standard of quality in British Columbia, Canada.
Canada, the great white north, the loved people of North America. That's what I like to say. I say other things, but we're not going to talk about that. We'll wait for the after party.
Perfect.
And I will, as we get going, like probably about 2 minutes out from when the show ends, I will drop the after party link so that everybody can join us. So I was talking right before the start of the show. It's like, where should we start when it comes to bubbles? Should we start, with the Spanish varietal, the Spanish form of bubbles? Should we start with the Italian form of bubbles, or should we start with the mother of all bubbles, that is champagne? And it was gentleman's choice. We're going to start with champagne tonight. Yeah. So, what made you, Christine, decide to go further in your wine education to become a master of champagne?
Well, great question. I've always loved my champagne. I love the bubble sparkling category of wine. I think it really brings celebration to anywhere that you are. And I did my French wine scholar through, again, the Wine Scholar Guild. And you need to have your French wine scholar before you can then go on to be a master of. And I was in the inaugural Master of Champagne level certificate that they offered, and I did really, really well. So I have a fascination for the history of the place. I have a huge respect for the craft and how long the champagne stays in the cellars and just waiting and waiting to be released. It's incredible. There's so much capital, money waiting in these cellars. And I went there in 2013 and I was just astounded. So much so that I'm happily able to say that my family and I are moving there in July, and we're going to stay in Champagne for about a year.
Awesome.
Insert all the envious groans that everybody in the comments can put out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, what are you most looking forward to in terms of moving out to a region that you've studied and now know and love?
Well, just getting to know the people, to be honest. I love the whole grower champagne category. I think that there is some heart and soul that not a lot of people know about that exists. For example, tonight, I don't know, I haven't said what I'm drinking, and maybe this is the time, but this is, Champagne de la Motte. I've got to bring it this way and up.
Basically cover your face with that bottle of champagne.
There we go. So this is a very unique champagne. I don't know how many of you have heard about Salon, like Champagne Salon. It is about a $400 or $500 bottle of champagne. So Champagne de la Motte is made when Salon is not made. All the same grapes that go into Salon go into de la Motte. And Salon has only been made 37 times in the last 100 years. So this guy goes for, I looked in the US market, anywhere between $35 and $50 a bottle. In Canada, I'm paying $62 a bottle, but I'm getting grapes that are incredible quality and the craftsmanship is just off the charts. Yes.
Hang on. Yes, live. Yay, live. So wait, now you said the price point right there, and I'm glad you mentioned that. You said 400?
So Salon in the United States can go anywhere from $400 to $500.
Okay, I'm sorry. My like so many hours of work just went out the window for the enjoyment of salon for me. Like I was like, that equates to exactly how many hours. Now, if that's on one side of the spectrum, you know, where do you look at like a budget, a more budget friendly? Because we're gonna get more into talking about holidays and sharing champagne, which we have to consider budget as one of those top things.
For sure. And that's why I just wanted to point out that Delamotte is not 400 or 500.
Yeah.
It's 35 to 50. So that's great. But you know, when you're talking about other bubbles, that's where the Prosecco and the Cavas of the world come in, right? That's what I think anyway.
Oh, like total budget.
No, not total budget. You can have exceptional expressions of Cava and Prosecco. You just have to find them and be diligent. But you know, if you're going to be making mimosas in the morning, I'm not going to pop a $65 bottle of champagne to make a mimosa. That's just ludicrous, right? No. So that to me is where the Cava comes in. And I just, you know, the market for us in Canada anyway, it's anywhere from $55 to $150 for a non-vintage champagne. So it's not inexpensive. But in champagne, I hear that I will be able to have €15 champagne every day if I want.
Oh my goodness. What's the exchange rate?
I'll come and visit.
All right. Well, Christine, thanks for joining us. Show's over. We hate you now.
Yes, officially.
No, that is amazing. The markup in Canada is interesting. I think probably budget champagne on average here, you're probably looking at mid-30s, to be honest, if you get really lucky. And of course, Jen, I believe, found a bottle for well less than that, which is also awesome. I'm looking forward to sharing a bottle of that with Jen soon, actually. I want to taste that and see what it was. Yeah,
they have a rosé version of it, so I'm excited to buy the same. It's the same label, same non-vintage, same price point. So I'm excited to try the rosé because what goes better in the holidays besides sparkle? Just throw some pink in that, right? Just throw some rosé on top of it all.
Absolutely. So we are talking holidays, or we mentioned holidays, and champagne's around a lot in the holidays. Christine, what would you tell someone who, wants to throw a nice party, wants to provide a nice bottle or several for their guests? Is it all price based for people, or is there some level at which they reach where they're probably reaching too much and just spending money for the sake of spending money, especially buying for a larger group?
It's a good question. And champagne, for me, in my experience anyway, when champagne is opened, people come running. So you kind of need a lot to go around. And so personally, I like to save champagne for very special occasions. I like to open it up, obviously, with my family, close friends. I'm not going to, if I'm having an open house, I'm not going to open up 10 bottles of champagne because, to be honest, not everybody likes the flavor of champagne. And as a consumer of champagne, I want to educate people about how beautiful and elegant and refined champagne can be. But in the same breath, I want to say, you're worth this. You are worth spending an extra $10 or $20 on a bottle of wine. Just enjoy it. Take that, whatever your wine budget is for the week, try and do without it for a week, and then double up and have a bottle of champagne. So in regards to crowds, I would probably say that I would honestly go towards a cava more than a champagne.
Okay.
And if I was going to do a champagne, I would do a house that probably people are quite familiar with, so they don't get scared off.
Right.
Maybe a Moet or a Veuve Clicquot. Both massive houses, very, very different in their profile, very different in how they make champagne. Incredibly respectful, both of them. But I'm not going to pop open a biodynamic, organically sourced champagne from a grower for somebody who just doesn't exactly know what's happening.
So with bubbles for a crowd, let's stick on that if we can for a minute. You would go straight to a cava then, instead of maybe going to like a Cremant.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. And why is that?
I think the cava is, well, it's made exactly the same way as champagne is made.
Sure.
Um, the method of production is the same. They follow the same criteria. It's just not the same grapes, and it's obviously not the same terroir.
Mhm.
But what I love about the cava is they show that respect
Mhm.
to their wine and they age it properly. And it is incredible value. I can't get over the value of cava and what the tasting profile is.
Mhm.
It's also a little bit rounder. It's a little bit more fleshy in the palate, and so people find it not so not not so. I'm trying to find the word. Offensive isn't the word because champagne's never offensive, but it's more friendly. It's more forgiving, I think.
Okay.
And so I go to cava right away. That's
Maybe less pronounced.
yeah, yep,
Just because you
totally.
don't want to say smoother, because
No,
we could all agree that if you find the right cava, prosecco, or champagne, it is smooth as anything, and to your own palate as well. But I think that there are some very distinct characteristics that I love and appreciate and look for in champagne in my whole 5 bottles of experience, 5 different labels. That's what I'm saying. I've had many different bottles of champagne, but I've only had about 5 labels, right?
okay.
And as this champagne that I have, actually, when it was really cold, it reminded me of a good cava, because I understand the way that they're taking care of it, the way that they're maybe aging it, the, maybe even sourcing the grapes because it is non-vintage. Maybe they're taking some of their older stock, whatever, right? They could be saving things for better vintages, right? But now that as it's come down and it's come down in temperature, it's starting to get a little bit of that bready characteristic, a little yeasty, and that's actually what I love. Really tight bubbles, a good amount of acid, but not overpowering, but yeasty and a little bready.
Yeah. And Jen means bread like the flour-based food product, not Brett's.
No, not
The
Brett. Sorry.
Yes, right. No, no, no. I just want to clarify for people out there listening. No, I want to
And
make
we
sure that,
call
yeah.
and we call that an autolytic tasting note, to be totally dorky. It's an
Yes.
autolytic tasting note.
Good. Let me go get my book. I feel like I should
Okay,
have my
okay,
book.
Google. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, Siri. Thank you. No, and there are a good amount of people in the audience that understand our level of wine nerdiness, and we try to talk up and we try to talk fair. I don't want to talk up and talk down, but we want to talk to everybody that comes in and views our content. We're talking about what's good price points, right? What
Mhm.
we like about champagne, cava, and prosecco, and I think that kind of speaks to both. So thank you for your wine nerdiness. We appreciate
You're
it, and I'm
welcome.
sure our audience members appreciate it.
And Christine, you said earlier you're not going to pull out like an expensive champagne for a large crowd. Pull out a case when you have an open house. I feel like I've heard that before, and it was maybe about exactly a year ago while having our holiday open house, and I went and pulled down a case of Tat.
Did you
Um,
really?
I did, yes, after we had gone through close to a case of Cremant that I had provided for guests already. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm coming to your open house
Oh,
parties.
you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. No one has claimed any of the guest beds yet, so you're more than welcome. You got a place to crash afterwards. There you go. All right, Christine's gonna be here next week, folks. Come on down.
And there's one thing that we haven't talked too much about, but I would love it, Christine, if you told us a little bit about your BC sparkling wine, because that's one thing that you're really proud of, and I don't think our viewers have a good insight into that.
I'd love to talk about that.
Talk about it.
Our British Columbia sparkling wine culture is incredible. It's on the rise. We have the perfect climate for that beautiful, nice acid. We have the money behind being able to cellar it.
Mhm.
Our terroir is perfect. We have a wonderful champagne esque. We actually sit on the same parallel as Champagne. So we're the 49th parallel in Vancouver, and in Okanagan, they're 49 to 50 parallel. which is exactly what the Champagne region, for the most part, sits within.
Mhm.
So, a few producers just offhand are Haywire. They do a fantastic job. We've got Evolve sellers that are starting with some effervescence and putting some Pinot Blanc in with their sparkles. We've just, the culture is incredible. We have a producer that does everything organically, Summerhill Pyramid Wineries. I think that, give us maybe 2 or 3 years, and British Columbia is even going to be more on the map for our sparkling wine. And then we've got Noble Ridge, which does a sparkling wine called The One. It's incredible. Please come and visit us me in Vancouver, and we'll all go up to the Okanagan, and I would love to do a tour around all the sparkling regions for you here.
Sign me up, I say.
Okay.
I'm in.
Guest bedroom, right? Guest bedroom.
Absolutely.
Did she I think when we were doing a test, I told Christine when she decides to go off and leave us for Champagne, the region in France, she needs to have 12 extra bedrooms.
You said 12, yeah.
Exactly 12.
Yeah. Christine, I'm going to be a little less selfish. I only need one extra bedroom. So.
Well, I'm actually being thoughtful of others.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can bring friends. That's what you're thinking, Jen. I love it.
We can always tent. We can always tent.
That's true. Glamping is ridiculous.
Camping wine. Camping champagne. Why not?
Oh my goodness.
So, Christine, I know you have an amazing nose, and you mentioned some other great varieties from which bubbly wines being made in BC. You mentioned Pinot Blanc.
Yes.
Are there others? Did I miss those during your?
Riesling in some. We've got some hybrid. We've got some hybrid grape varieties that are put into the blue grouse wine called Paula. I think what the neat thing right now in British Columbia is that our winemakers are saying, okay, this is what we do. This is what we do well. This is what we can do, and let's just start experimenting and see where we can go, because I personally think that this is going to be, as I said, 2 or 3 years awesome. Pinot Blanc is definitely up there. Riesling, we've got sparkling Rieslings, and I would just name off all these weird hybrid grapes, but it wouldn't really make sense. So yeah, it's a great culture. It's a great culture.
I love that kind of a Wild West mentality, especially in the wine world, because that is very difficult. For those of you who don't know, to change a process or change a grape you're growing or a blend you're doing or change a field, that is a huge commitment from a winemaker or a winery that could really affect their business for years to come if it doesn't work out. Unlike a brewery can brew anything it wants, and 30 days later, if that doesn't work, they have another beer to sell. Wineries don't generally have that advantage, and I love that that's happening in British Columbia. That's really amazing.
I don't know of anybody that's actually growing Pinot Meunier. As you know, it's Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Meunier that I know is not being grown here, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if somebody just said, I'm going to start growing Meunier. Why not?
Awesome. And why are those 3 grapes important?
Well, those are the 3 grapes that make up 90% of all champagne. They're important because they grow well in the climate that is Champagne. Mm-hmm. So a Blanc de Blanc is a 100% Chardonnay champagne, and a Blanc de Noir, for example, is either 100% Pinot Noir or Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier together, and that's called a Blanc de Noir. There's no Chardonnay added to that. But Champagne is a blended wine. Mm-hmm. So white and black grapes go together to make this stunning thing that, I'm in love with. Seems like you guys are in love with, and hopefully all the viewers are in love with too.
Just a little bit. And if you guys have any or want any reference for the BC wineries that Christine had mentioned, Leanne from Town Hall Brands is in the comments, and she's put a bunch of them up. So if you want to check them out, if you're visiting Canada or trying to sneak into Christine's guest room for a sparkling wine trip between now and this summer, because she leaves pretty soon, check it out there. And I also put her blog in, so check out what she does. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch, if nothing else, what you blog about and where you go. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, is there a time, and I want to bring it back to like the consumer side of bubbles. Like, is there a time that is made for champagne in your life? Is there a time that is made for Prosecco? Is there a time
Celebrating every day? And whatever I kind of have on hand, I'm going to go for it. And that's why I said, you know, if your wine budget is X, try and double up and treat yourself to that champagne bottle. But to be honest, for me, like a Sunday afternoon, I'm having a brunch. I'm going to open up bottles of Cava, sparkling British Columbia wine. I'm going to open up bubbles. Outside, to me, equals bubbles as much as inside celebration. So it's there's these famous quotes from Lily Bollinger. You know, she says, I drink champagne when I'm happy. I drink champagne when I'm sad. I drink it when I'm hungry. I drink it when I'm thirsty. It's just, there's always a time, always a place. For me, Cava, sparkling wine from British Columbia. I love the sparkling category. That's kind of my little love, you know. I really love it. So for me personally, I don't have a time and a date or a place or an association, but definitely, you know, the New Year's, of course, 100%, you're going to want to pop a bubble. This is celebrating the year that's passed and looking forward to the year that's coming up. What do you guys think?
Look, she's on it. She's ready to host now. That's
Yeah,
it.
no, I like
We've created a live stream monster. She
I
turned
like
it
it.
around on us.
No, she's doing a great job.
Yeah, right? I see. I kind of got late to the Cava game, and I've only tried 2 labels, and they're very big producers, so I haven't found a Cava I can really fall in love with. And if it's my, what's that?
What are the labels?
The
Cava.
I don't remember the one, but it starts with an F, and it's the black label that's in literally every grocery store. Felix. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And see, this is why you don't ask me to pronounce things. This is why I have Stub on here.
Probably pronouncing it wrong.
This is
Like,
why
I pronounce things correctly. I mispronounce things on purpose most of the time.
I try.
I don't.
But I don't. So if I'm making mimosas, I'm a Prosecco girl. Okay. And maybe because I feel like Prosecco, even at a very dry level, has a little bit of sweetness to it. And that could be the grape that they're using in it. It just, for me, and especially if I move from mimosas to something like cranberry juice and bubbly, which I love. I love during the holiday times to mix cranberry juice because, you know, I care about my female parts, right? And my bladder, and I want to make sure everything is good down there, and I want to, you know, have a really good morning. So I do the cranberry juice.
God bless you.
God bless you. Yeah, that sounds like a very southern way to say you're special. Thanks, Christine. So, and plus it has less sweetness. But either way, I tend to go for Prosecco because I have more of a range of experience with it, and you know, as I have opportunities, I may shift to Cava, and then champagne is basically two times a year when Stub is generous enough to give me one of his bottles. Aww. Or share one of his bottles.
True.
It's true. And then around my birthday or whenever I decide to get some friends together that are going to appreciate the champagne. Exactly. And for me, I didn't even drink this champagne by myself because I love it and I care about it, and I think it's a different experience and I want to share that with people. I took it to my neighbor's house. So I do not drink champagne by myself.
Oh, darling.
I know.
I know.
We have
Christine and I are going to be having a talk with you, Jen.
I bought champagne at Aldi. Can we?
No, I think the price point is great. Try everything at every price point, I say. I'll jump in on this one and I say I would drink champagne all the time if I could afford it, and afford the champagnes or try the champagnes I haven't tried. I have a a decent experience with different labels and different champagnes, and I've tried things at, you know, lower, higher price points. I keep stock of lower, higher price points. But I love what you said, Christine, and I've tried to adopt this in my life, and I definitely tell other people that whether it be champagne or any other wine or special thing you're holding in your cellar, you're always holding something for a special occasion that never seems to come.
Yeah.
And at the end point, and this is really to be more funny than macabre, at the end point, that special occasion is going to be people toasting you upon your death, and that bottle you never had the opportunity to try. So I'm not saying random Tuesday, open up that $1,000 bottle that you won at a lottery, or maybe do, because, you know, what the hell, you woke up on a Tuesday and you're still above ground. But I love that. I love that attitude. If that's what you want to drink, drink it, and do the best you can to experience that, and know the difference, know your palate, and know when it's appropriate to spend money on a very expensive champagne, or drink cava or prosecco when you're maybe mixing drinks or whatever. But you brought up that. I love some. Oh my gosh, the champagne cocktails I always end up getting champagne cocktails around the holidays when we go out to dinners, because they're amazing and people feature them, and they're generally less than they're going to be. You'll get actual champagne because champagne is now more on the menu when you're out at bars and restaurants. So yeah, you get some amazing cocktails. So I'm not above drinking a French 75 or two with my pinky up. I'm just saying.
With your pink, just to clarify, with the pinky up, because that's
Oh,
very important.
oh yeah, totally going Bruno Mars style there.
Completely important to that. So I want to thank everybody who's come by, and yes. I wanted to read a couple comments before we get into final thoughts, because we've gone 30 minutes. See how quick? Wow. 30 minutes goes very quickly.
Hey, Jen, thanks for penning a comment saying how good I look in this sweater.
You're welcome. Abby loves you and loves the way you look in that green sweater and green tie.
That's making me blush a little bit. I'm just saying. There are reindeer on this tie. I know you can't really tell, but this is a festive Christmas tie right here.
I am the least festivus, I think, here. So Jessica Wilson, and I don't know, maybe you know her, Christine. I don't know her. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming by. Says, if someone doesn't like champs, I cannot hang with them. Principle 462 of my manifesto to be friends with Jess.
I feel like Jessica and I are about to be BFFs after that statement.
Seriously, like
yeah. No, we're gonna go hang out and drink some champagne together. I feel it coming soon.
So mote it be. And Christina, who is just the bottle, said that she's drinking Amarone tonight. Ooh. Yum. Talk about staying warm tonight.
Oh, I like it.
So we like to do this at the end of the show. We like to give an opportunity for everybody to go around the horn and say any final thoughts. So Christine, do you have any final thoughts for tonight?
Just enjoy bubbles. Try, if you're not typically drawn to the bubble or the sparkling category, maybe make it a New Year's resolution and say, every month I'm going to try something new in a bubble category, and then you're going to figure out what it is that you like. And I think that would be brilliant. Bubbles should be in everyone's life. Final thought.
Stub, watch out. She just mic dropped right there. Drink your bubbles. Go.
She really did. I can't really top that thought, but I totally support it. I want to thank, though, I actually want to speak about Christine for my final thought and thank her for coming on the show. She is the type of person in this crazy wine business that we are all in that I absolutely love. She is fun-loving, loves life, but has an immense amount of knowledge and doesn't mind sharing it with you in a funny, humorous way. But it doesn't take long when talking to her to know she knows everything she's talking about. If she doesn't, she'll tell you, which isn't often. She knows what she knows, and she's happy to talk about it, but also have a great time and realize that we're all in this business because it's fun and we have a passion for it. So thank you for joining us, Christine.
Thank you.
I'm tearing up a little. I'm sorry.
I know. Like, I don't know if I have anything right now. I think that I want to also thank Christine for coming here. I appreciate it. I knew you had some expertise, and you let me be a little bit of a novice, as I feel like I am. I feel like wine education is a journey, whether you're starting out and you're drinking Boone's Farm or you're drinking Tatnage, every day you're still on this journey that is wine or wine byproducts. So I appreciate you sharing some knowledge, especially those great tips about what the blend of champagne is, what Blanc de Blanc is, and Blanc de Noir is. Words, French, hard. So I really appreciate that, and I hope you guys remember those couple tips. And yeah, it's been a fun show, and it's gone by very fast. Thank you.
And we're going to keep chatting in the after party.
Yes.
Where Christina is going to give us the finer points of the skin the skin composition of the Glera grape. That's what we're going to do next.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
For that after party.
We're going to go dork out.
Yeah, exactly.
What a great way to bring people by. All right, Christine, we're going to see you in the after party. Indeed. Stub, however, what do we have coming up next week? Do you remember?
Next week, you're going to be in New York City. New York City, is that correct?
New York City?
That's right. Where, yeah, you're going to be hanging with our good buddy JVB.
It's a fun fact. Right? Fun fact.
Okay.
I will not be in New York City.
Oh.
I know.
Why'd you set me up for this?
Merry Christmas!
Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, what are we doing next week, Jen?
No, we're still going to talk to JVB, who is JVB Uncorked. We're going to talk about cellaring. And
cellaring. I like it.
This is the time to bust out what you have in the cellar. Like Stub was mentioning, why save that precious bottle for the very last moment where you may or may not get to enjoy it? Maybe it's time to take a look at what you have, and bring it out for Wine Antics Live next week with Jim Van Bergen, who is JVB Uncorked, and I'm excited. I'm literally excited about talking about cellaring
and not holding on to stuff and sharing stuff with friends, because that guy does all of those things.
He really does.
He's been doing wine a long time, and he has a lot of it, and he has a lot of really nice wines, and doesn't mind somewhat on a whim pulling stuff out. So, yeah. Hey, JVB, my wife would yell at you too at big parties. I'm just saying.
So he will be in New York City. I, however, will not.
He will not be. Okay, he's not coming here.
No,
he's not coming to my house. All right.
No, if you've watched my other live streams, you've known what's been going on in my life for the last week. So my trip is delayed.
Absolutely.
So, for everybody out there, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 9 p.m.
We're in the after party immediately right now.
Let me do that. There's the link. I just hit the button.
Drop it, pin it.
I gotta pin it. Thank you for reminding me, Stub, because it won't be there. All right, we'll see you in the after party, guys.
All right.
Bye. Cheers.